Thank you, Father.
Hallelujah.
For the Lord shall lift up a standard today.
Yes, Lord.
Prepare your hearts.
Jesus.
Thank you, Father.
Thank you.
We're coming from 1 Samuel 16, 1 and 7. Now the Lord said to Samuel, you have mourned long enough for Saul. I have rejected him as king of Israel. So fill your flask with olive oil and go to Bethlehem. Find a man named Jesse who lives there, for I have selected one of his sons to be my king. But Samuel asked, how can I do that? If Saul hears about it, he will kill me. Take a heifer with you, the Lord replied, and say that you have come to make a sacrifice to the Lord. Invite Jesse to the sacrifice, and I will show you which one of his sons to anoint. So Samuel did as the Lord instructed. When he arrived at Bethlehem, the elders of the town came out trembling to meet him. What's wrong? They asked. Do you come in peace? Yes, Samuel replied. I have come to sacrifice to the Lord. Purify yourselves and come with me to the sacrifice. Then Samuel performed the purification rite for Jesse and his sons and invited them to the sacrifice too. When they arrived, Samuel took one look at Eliab and thought, surely this is the Lord's anointed. But the Lord said to Samuel, don't judge by his appearance or his height, for I have rejected him. Get this, the Lord does not see things the way you see them.
Right.
People judge on the outer appearance, but the Lord looks at the heart.
Amen.
You may be seated.
Amen.
Today the message is going to be called Character versus Reputation.
Wow.
Character versus reputation. You guys write that down? You can. Character versus reputation. And we're going to go into it pretty fast because I really want to leave some time to bust the enemy's head to the white meat today.
Amen.
I really want to leave some time to deliver God's people. Aren't you tired of going through the same thing, same circles?
Yes.
For man looks on the outside, but God says, I see the heart side. That's why the Lord set you up today, Wesley Sr. For men have looked on the outside of you to see the rough, but God says, I see the heart of you.
Wow. That's good.
And God says, I'm going to heal you today, son. I'm going to deliver you. As the Father delivers his Son. Thank you, Father.
Thank you, Jesus.
Truth be told, number one. When I say TBT, it means truth be told for some of the guests. Your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think of you. Your character is what you really are, while your reputation is merely what others think of you. We live in a society where the truth is we're more concerned about our reputation than character.
Wow.
And God wants to deal with that today. And show you where you've been erring at so he can set you free from that. Get this, your reputation is the image that the world defines you as. Get that? Reputation is the image that the world defines you as. Your character is what God sees you as. Your reputation is the image that the world sees you as. Your character is what God sees you as. There was an interesting quote from General Norman Schwarzkopf from the United States Army. He spoke this quote. I thought it was very interesting. He said, note the importance on character, he says here. It says, leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. But if you must be without one, be without strategy. Leadership is a potent combination of strategy and character. But if you must be without one, be without strategy. Now, you're an army, you're a leader of the army. You need some strategy to win, right? But he says, if I gotta be one, I'm gonna drop the strategy and I'm gonna keep my character.
That's right.
That's pretty powerful right there.
Yes, it is.
Get to have Tiara back in the house. How are you? Good to see you. I be missing y'all when y'all not here. It's good to see you again. Did you see how powerful that is, that quote? Look at the emphasis he put on character. Now, I know, anybody have heard that adversity does not build character before? Did you ever, anybody hear that? It's a truth. It's a saying that goes around that adversity don't build character, but that's not true. Adversity builds character. I understand the premises that they're coming from as far as adversity does not help us build character. But in God's eyes, in God's spiritual world, it builds character to us. Anybody change some things in their life about their character after going through some stuff?
Oh, yes.
It's refining moments that goes through us, but I can kind of realize it, even in this world that we're in, we're taught to care about our reputations more than our characters. And I'm not gonna get before my time. Let me go on, because I'm getting ready to jump out with all the information right in one. Somebody say, "Calm down, Apostle."
Calm down, Apostle.
Easy. Can't feed you too much. Look, based on the beliefs, it really actually based on what Paul says in about tribulations. Listen, the scripture says that Paul says tribulations in one's life produces a chain reaction of traits that include character. Romans 5:3-4. I'm reading from the AMPC chapter. That's the apostle. Starts ACE means apostle. No, I'm just playing, y'all. What that stand for, Patricia? I stole that version from her.
Classic. It's Amplified Classic.
Amplified Classic. I'm gonna call it Apostle Classic. That's my favorite scriptures now that I use as far as the version. But it says, look at this. We can read Romans 5:3-4. It says, "Moreover, let us also be full of joy now. Let us exalt and triumph in our troubles and rejoice in our sufferings, knowing that pressure and affliction and hardship produces patience and unswerving endurance. And endurance develops maturity of character." You get that?
Wow.
Anybody feel like they ain't had no endurance? They were ready to give up? Character, I'm gonna break it down like this. Listen, character is your inner self, while your reputation is your outer image. Write that down, because you gotta remember that. Character is your inner self, while your reputation is your outward image. And some of y'all shaking your head already, like, "Oh no, I didn't know this message was gonna be for me." Oh my God. Did you notice in 1 Samuel 16:7 it says, "For the Lord does not see a man." Now that I told you guys the title, character versus reputation, I'm gonna read that again. It says, "For the Lord does not see a man who looks on the outward appearance." Remember the outward appearance, which is reputation, appearance. But the Lord looks at the heart, which is character. That actually means character. I look at your character. Your heart is actually tied to your character. So that's what God was saying. So I'm gonna read that again. "For the Lord does not see a man, see as a man sees. For the Lord doesn't look at their reputation, but the Lord looks at his character." You guys get that? And so I want you guys to ask yourself a question. What does God see when he looks at your character? I want you to pose that question to yourself. Now, I got rebuked for walking around the stage too much, y'all, so I'm trying to stay still. You know, the IT department, they don't play. You know, they throw them subtle hints at you. You move a lot, you know that? You know, they don't say they're gonna get you, but that's what they meant. The IT department got a reputation, y'all. I'm just throwing that in there. Anybody had a bad reputation in high school? Anybody? Marcus? Man, you butter heart. You ain't had no bad. You cry more than everybody in here. How you? Oh, you talking about the honey dips? Okay. They say Mark was a Care Bear in high school. Care Bear. But I had a bad reputation in high school. Anybody had a bad? Listen, we had some. Listen, we was rough in high school. Bad. We'll get to that later. I mean, we was gangster disciples, GD, throwing up the forks, all that type of stuff.
Wow.
You said it still is. What? You see that your own life. I'm a gangster for Christ now.
There you go.
But one thing I hated when I was in high school, was I hated bullies. And so if I saw somebody bigger than somebody else, small, picking on somebody, I would always jump in. I would just intervene just on their behalf as if that was their savior. to beat them up. Sort of like what I do in the spirit realm for y'all now. Same thing, but I just switched it for God now.
That's right.
So when I see a demon jumping on y'all, I jump in for you. But look at this. It says, obviously, listen to Galatians 1 and 10. It says, obviously, I'm not trying to win the approval of people, but of God. If pleasing people were my goal, I would not be Christ's servant. Yep. See, your reputation would cause you to try to please people.
That's right.
Did you get that?
Yep. That's good.
Let's take, anybody ever heard of Aaron Hernandez, the football player, NFL? Anybody know that a couple of years ago? How long ago was that ago? Man, y'all women don't even watch football at all? Nothing? Nobody? Kevin, do you know who Aaron Hernandez is? I do. Okay. Say nothing, brother. You know? Huh? Okay, yeah, that was about 4 or 5 years ago, so Yvonne though. Well, here's a man who had an NFL, well, he actually had a bad history in high school. We'll just break you guys down, just a little story. He had a bad reputation in high school. And in the end of his life, listen, he actually had a bad name. He's supposed to actually be projected to go #1 in the NFL. Well, he fell all the way down to like the last round, pretty much.
Wow.
Last round, because something happened in high school where he was involved in a shooting in high school, where he was pointed out that he shot somebody in high school and nothing ever happened. Pretty much just disappeared. Well, you get up to NFL status. He gets to NFL. He outdoes everybody, and now he gets I want to say it was a $70 million contract, $60 to $70 million contract. Bam, I finally made it. But because of his reputation, this is the moral of the story. Because of his reputation of he came from the hood, nobody was to mess with him. Somebody did something to his wife's sister, the boyfriend. Well, you think a man that's worth $70 million wouldn't go, if he was gonna do it, you'd probably try to pay somebody, right? But because of his reputation that nobody messes with, and because he got away with in high school, he went and shot a man and killed him, and long story short, he committed suicide and he got sentenced to life and messed his entire life up because of his reputation. Because I had a reputation that, and people would ask him, why are you hanging around these thugs? Why are you still hanging around these people? Why are you still hanging around? Because what's inside of you always is gonna come up. That's why NFL players usually, I want to quote it, it's about 2 years after they come out of NFL, they actually are broke within 2 years. NBA players, I think it's like 80% or 90% of NFL, don't quote me on that, 80 or 90%, something like that. And it's a high amount. They're broke within 2 years of coming out. NBA within 3 to 5 years, 60% are broke. Made $60, $70 million, don't have no money. Why? Because what's inside of you comes back. And so the only thing that kept them having money is that they was getting a paycheck, right? And so as soon as the paycheck stopped, they returned back to they had a ghetto story, a good, from rags to riches story. It came from the ghetto, and I made it, I finally, but you return right back to who you were. Why? Because wealth is inside of you, right? It's actually embedded in your character, but that's not my message, but I'm just getting there, so for somebody. But throughout history, there's been tons of sports scandals, right? There's been tons of church scandals, but that's just one example of using your reputation, because you couldn't look like a punk in front of your boys. Worth $70 million, you just signed the contract, got a house, beautiful girl, baby girl, not even a year old. You got everything, just got married, everything, you bought a brand new house, and yet you felt like you had to go. And then was so ignorant that he didn't have the sense to come. He left with the guy, went and picked him up, he's on camera, come home with the gun, he pulls the gun out, he's on camera, and didn't even erase his own camera.
Wow.
I was just boggled by, you didn't have no inner circle to give you any type of wisdom that help you. You just shot somebody, man. Don't walk in with the gun, first of all. Let me take the gun and we gonna get rid of that before we can get home. What was that? See? That's the baby? I find that funny, okay. I'm gonna preach to the baby then. Oh, rough crowd here. But look at that though. And so he's on, all the police did was come to his house, take his tapes. Yeah, he right on here, here's the gun. Yeah, it's a 45, is exactly what he got shot with. And this was a long time friend of his too, by the way, that he shot. And so, don't go by people's reputation because they're false. Anybody watch First 48? That's one of my shows, y'all. It's amazing that you got a 25-year-old friend that tells you, listen, man, we down, man, I ain't spending. When that officer walks in and says, listen, you're looking at 20 years. Listen, man, let me tell you all about. Yeah, y'all know, listen, it's another crime. Y'all ain't even investigating them. I'm gonna tell you about that one too. It's amazing how they spill their guts. But they had a reputation of being tough on the street.
Right.
But as soon as they was facing that 20 years, start spilling their guts like a stuck pig. That's what they call it. I'm not going to jail for nobody. We had a friend do that one time to us, me and Dion. As a matter of fact, it was Dion, do you remember when we was driving to, I think, Deshaun's house? And I think we were going to see, it was Super Bowl or something like that. And so me and Dion, we took our TVs and we actually put it in the car so we can have some more TVs. So we actually took our TVs from our house, so we was going. We put it in the back of the car. So the police pulled us over and they was like, well, all these TVs and electronics doing up in here. So they pulled us out the car, questioned us once. Well, yeah, that came from my house. Dion gave the story perfect. You know what, buddy? I don't know where it came from, man. You just came from the same house as us.
Wow.
He was making the officers sound like we stole the TVs. And you just helped us put these TVs in the car. Do you remember that? I was looking at him sideways, like this. I was reevaluating. That was my best friend. I was reevaluating our relationship right there. You know what I said? Because I was a criminal back then. I said, I'll never do a crime with nobody. And so that's the reason why I don't have a criminal background right now, because I never did a crime with nobody. Can't tell on myself, right?
Oh my God. Wow.
Now, some of y'all still being delivered, so don't take that. That's true. But look at that. How your reputation, you've been with this guy for 25 years, so we grew up from childhood. Some of them spill the guts on you and they're just facing 2 years. Yeah, you facing 2 years, man, about you just for not holding them. What? Start spilling the guts. And so in most situations with those scandals, it's a situation where, hey, you got a key moment of allegations surface. And then you have a choice between believing their character or their reputation. Right? It's a new thing it's going on now with another NFL player. I don't know if y'all paid attention to that. But what did they go do? The first thing they went and did was pull up his reputation. Isn't it amazing how you find a buddy of his from when he was 3 years old? Yeah. He kicked me in the back of the head when I was in 3rd grade. They find somebody to put an allegation on you. Yeah, he deals with anger. Yes, man. This guy whooped 5 guys. It was me and my friends who was walking down the street. He wanted my Twinkie. It was, how old were you? This was when we was in 3rd grade. They find somebody in your background to testify against, to speak against what you did, so you can change the public eye of that person being guilty. So what does the world do? They judge you against what? Your reputation. They don't look at your character. This is the reason why most people can't. If there's ever any bad thing that happens in a marriage, forbid. If anything bad happens in a marriage, there's the unfaithfulness or something happens. The reason why God can't heal most of the time is because you keep judging people by their reputation and not their character that God changed. You get that? You see, God can change a person's character, but you gotta always got a picture of a reputation that person had. You get that? And so God can barely even come in and heal because I always got a reputation. I remember who that person was.
Wow.
Well, the only reason why you guys can listen to me now is because you didn't know who I was. You didn't know my reputation back in the day.
That's good.
Do you get that?
That's true.
Now, each of us, just off the top of your head, you both want a strong reputation and character, right?
Mm-hmm.
However, circumstances in this world makes you choose one or the other.
Wow.
Now, oftentimes you can't defend both your character and your reputation, and God purposely puts you in them positions like that. Mm-hmm. And I'm gonna show you why. Circumstances oftentimes forces us to choose one or the other. Get this, if I choose character, then my integrity will lead me to do the right thing. Perhaps even at the expense of my reputation, of my organization. It might be your business, at the expense of your family's reputation, or at the expense of your own reputation. If you choose character, your integrity will lead you to do the right thing, but that may be at the expense of your reputation, of your family, your business, or yourself.
That's true.
If I choose reputation, the most important issue becomes how something will look to others.
Right.
You get that?
Right.
How it's going to look to others. Anybody ever had that? I can remember getting ready to get my car repossessed, and I always, the first thing, not the car, was, man, what people going to think about? Man, I lost the car. What are people going to think about me?
Yep.
Anybody been through that before?
Yeah.
If I get bad credit, how am I going to look in the eyes? I want to keep this image, this reputation that I'm good. Do you get that? But if you choose repetition, this makes one immediately go into damage control, and it actually takes actions to limit any unfavorable news getting out, right? It makes you go into damage control. I can't let that get out. Anybody had them old deep dark, I'm taking this to the grave secrets, I can't let this get out. My reputation will be, oh my goodness. I got them, listen, I'm taking this to the grave with me. Some of y'all done had them grave secrets told by God up in here through prophecy, didn't they? Y'all sitting there, your friend invited you? Yeah, so-and-so probably told me.
Right.
So-and-so probably told him that. Nobody knew about that one. I said I was taking that to the grave with me right there.
Right.
God, you are real. You see, God always speaks to something that no one ever knew, nobody ever talked to you about. Isn't that amazing?
Amen.
See, here's the problem with that. If you choose reputation, it keeps you, it either delays or it gives it gives you absent of a proper accountability in your life. It doesn't keep you accountable. And so you try to hide things. You don't want it to come. My mom has done with that so many years. She tried to keep a reputation. But here's the thing: most people know who you are, and you don't even know who you are. Did you know that? Like, my mom would say stuff to us, and we looking at each other like. But never had the heart to tell my mom, listen, Mom, I know you went through. Listen, I know you got a record. I know you got all this. I never had the heart to tell my mother that. But she would look at you like when you tell her, Mom, I did this. I don't know where y'all got that from. Y'all just nasty. I'd be like, we just look at each other like, but she wanted to always keep a reputation. Even now, she wants to, like, I'm 45 years old. My mom wants to keep a reputation with us, a reputation. She doesn't ever want us to look bad at her. She doesn't ever want to see looked at as oh, I did this. I did this. I was with a man outside of my marriage. I can't let nobody see that. You get that? Did you know God would rather have you honored, be outside of in a wrong relationship and be real than to have it? Did you know that?
Wow.
See, God says I'd rather you be cold or hot,
right.
but if you're lukewarm, lukewarm is trying to have it. I want people.
Right.
God says I'll spit you up my mouth if you lukewarm.
Yep.
There's really nothing worse than a lukewarm drink. Nothing worse. I'd rather have it hot or I don't like lukewarm. And some of y'all don't. You don't have a demon if you like lukewarm. All right? I'm not saying that. Now get this. I want to point out some things because, listen, there's a lot of character traits that was passed down to us from our family. They're church character that's passed down to churches. Did you know that?
That's true.
And so churches pass down character to the next generation. We have actually been programmed to give the next generation the same thing we got. But it didn't work for us. So why would I pass down what didn't work for us to the next generation? This is the reason why millennials are rejecting God now. And so what happened is, my generation was forced to go to church. I saw my mother sleeping with all types of people, doing all this. I saw the church doing this. They told me to dip, but I saw my mama do the opposite. And so what I did was, I had children, then I forced it. Listen, I'm not going to force that on my children. I don't even want them. I'll just let them make a choice. They want to go to church or not. And so most millennials don't even go to church at all. They don't know nothing about God. A lot of people don't know nothing about God. And so what happens is, if we don't correct this now, the next generation, the millennials, won't even know God. Their children won't even know God at all. All right? You get that?
Amen.
And so we've been pre-programmed to give what we're supposed to be programmed to give what works for us, but we give what's broken to the next generation.
Wow.
The church is broken, so why would we teach the same ways to this generation? That's what Church Unchained is about. That's why God calls us to reform the way church is.
Amen.
That's why you don't see us just stop the service and take an offering. And that's why you don't see big old chairs up here. And I gotta go up three stairs to sit up above y'all. That's why we don't do that. Because they're saying you're above people.
Wow.
But the Bible says the greatest among you gonna serve.
That's right. That's right.
The greatest among you gonna. That's why I serve. That's why you see me cut hair all the time. That's why you see me do things for free. Because I'm a servant of God.
Amen.
Yeah, can I charge money? Yes, I can. And it really don't matter if you give me 20, it don't matter if you give me 0. It doesn't matter to me. That's what my heart is. Now my wife says she'd rather give you 20 so she can start. But I do that to show my humbleness, to show my, listen, just because I'm one of the leaders of the church doesn't mean that I can't cut somebody's hair. Doesn't mean that I can't sweep somebody's floor.
Amen.
You get that?
Amen.
And so, you guys already know of us, some characters that's inside me and the prophet, right?
Right.
You already know. I think Chantel was telling me about Patricia was saying something about Deron does this every time he ready to prophesy. You see character traits in me. She was dogging me out to one. She said. But y'all know some character traits about me and Dion, right? Already. Oh, Deron is this. You can speak to our characters already. You can speak to our characters, which really becomes reputation in your eyes.
That's true.
You can speak to our reputation because you don't see it as character, but you see it as reputation. Because that's what the world teaches us. Reputation. I gotta have a good reputation. I gotta have this. And so it puzzles me, why would we pass down something that chased us away from God?
Wow.
Think about that.
Wow.
Why would we pass something down to somebody that chased us away from God? Some of us didn't want nothing to do with God because of the church.
It's true.
You know why I didn't want nothing to do with God? Because my mother and them taught us to live, eat TV dinners, can't go to the movies. You gotta have your skirt down to your ankles, no lipstick on, you can't wear earrings, you can't wear this. And it caused me to judge people's reputations.
Wow.
And so as soon as I saw somebody with earring on, oh my God, I would be in church, that person praising God, I'm bound. Going straight to hell. I don't know why you praising God. I'm literally saying this in church. You're going straight to hell, man. This dude, when you praising God for like that, man, that's blasphemy, man.
Yeah, I used to do that.
I used to do that. Anybody?
Yes. Oh, yeah. Yep.
I would judge people based on their reputation because I see
Right.
you got on earrings. I see you got on, look at that, Jezebel. You got on red lipstick. I found out, listen, Jezebel was taught all wrong. Really? Yeah, Jezebel was this fast lady to come in and sleep with people's husbands. No, Jezebel was all about asserting the man's authority.
That's right.
That's what Jezebel was about.
Yeah.
Did she use sex to try to manipulate? Yes. But that's another story. I'm not going. We'll do that with the grown folks. It's in the house. The women will use.
My Lord.
Come on now.
My Lord.
I'm not gonna use it.
My Lord.
Be nice today, y'all. Somebody just say it's in the house. Listen, some of us have formed worldly characteristics or bad reputations because someone exposed or took advantage of one of our weaknesses. You get that? You actually develop a reputation because somebody exposed or took advantage of one of our weaknesses. So what do? You create a reputation to make sure that never happens again.
Wow. Wow.
As a matter of fact, I can remember, I'm going to have to bust you out, Toya, right here. But I can remember you telling me a story of somebody said something about one of your toes before, remember? And you said you didn't wear sandals for a whole long time because somebody said something about a toe. And we started laughing. But do you see how she tried to guard her reputation? Where Trey at? He ain't here today. Well, I guess I could talk about him like a dog did. Well, we was at our house. Some of y'all was there. I had some witnesses. It's amazing how you're... Let me go home. Let me tell the story instead. Matthew 18:5. Did you know between you and him privately, if he listens to you, you have won a brother back. The only one we begin to talk to privately is ourselves.
Wow.
Uh-oh. Don't we? And demons, right? We begin to start guarding our reputation. We ain't even talk to them, but we having a full conversation like they heard us.
Wow.
Uh-oh.
Come on, somebody.
It's in the house. Listen, guarding our reputation always leads to pride. Remember that. Guarding our reputation always leads to pride.
That's good.
And I'll tell the story. Even it's a funny story, but even when we was at our house and we was the men start arm wrestling. I don't think Kevin was there. I think it was a couple.
Oh, Lord.
Y'all remember when we was arm wrestling, Tansy? Y'all remember?
I remember.
You know, pride came over me, y'all, because I won like, all my matches with her. But I remember talking to Trey, and Trey had, Trey used to be real skinny, so he put some weight on. And I said, Trey, you still ain't stronger than me, man. Oh man, it's like I'm stronger than you. I said, okay, man. I mean, let's arm wrestle. I said, okay, we're gonna arm wrestle. So I get over there, boom, whoop him, and tell Trey, listen, just because you're grown don't mean you got your grown man strength yet. You got to have grown man strength. It's the difference between being grown and having grown man strength. Y'all know that?
Oh my goodness.
And so I whooped him, bam, bam. So he started getting people. I had to humble him. So after you get humbled, then you start to try to fool somebody else. Well, I'll wrestle him then. So he brought Devon over. I had to humble Devon. So I mean, I'm sorry, brother. I had to put you in the message, but I had to humble Devon. He tried to arm wrestle me too. And I can remember, Trey said, one more time. Then he started getting mad at other people because they was laughing. I'm okay, I'm gonna wrestle you then. Then he tried the prophet. And then we was all good. We said, all right, man, we done. But Trey's reputation was damaged, so he, listen, man, just one more time before I leave. Please, I promise you this is the last time. I said, Trey, I said, okay, now I done arm wrestle 5 people. You don't arm wrestle just 2, 3 people. So, okay, now when I beat you now, so I beat him again. Had to humble the brother again. But isn't it funny how our reputation was damaged in front of the pretty ladies that was in there? Because the ladies was watching, and the ladies started laughing. Reputation became damaged.
Oh my
You
goodness.
got humble Marcus too, didn't you? Yeah, you got humble too. Yeah, you got humble too, sir. So you tried to throw Marcus. He said, go ahead, Marcus, more your size, man. I had to humble Marcus.
I cannot.
I think it was a draw.
No, bro. There's no draw. You remember I humbled Marcus too. I got witness.
I cannot.
And so after arm wrestling 10 people, I came out victorious. Y'all go ahead and give me a hand. All right, Father. Let me cast the spirit of pride off you. But you won't put your chest stick out because I got a reputation now. My daughter saw me whoop everybody in here.
Oh my gosh.
You start going around picking on folks. You want some too? You better stop looking over here. Tell you. So we down there with one arm wrestle. It was supposed to be one arm wrestle match. Everybody started jumping in, trying to grab their reputation. But that was funny, and that's in a funny sense, but that shows you just how our reputation can be injured. We don't want nobody to ever see our reputation looking as weak. We don't want nobody to ever see us be able to lose to somebody. Now, I can lose to somebody, but just not very many. But this is the truth of the matter, is if we follow our reputations, guess what? Reputations are built by you. Did you know that? Let's go on. And so, where were we at? We begin to start talking to ourselves and stop talking to that person, right? God says, go to your brother if they offended you. But we start talking to ourselves. In the world, who do they think they are? Since they did this, it's only fair that I do this. Right? Make them feel how I feel. Is that in the house? It's amazing how we start setting up these little games in our heart.
Wow.
You know what that game called? Revenge.
Yep, that's it.
You see, you don't say it, but they did that. You start plotting. You know what? That person did that. You better not say nothing if I do this because now we're even. Uh-oh. Now we're even. Did you know I'm there? No, that's not me. You can't do that for me. You don't know not to mess with me. Uh-oh. My reputation is not gonna be damaged. Has anybody done the fool in a relationship before? Anybody? Everybody better raise their hand up in here. I know everybody has done the fool or had the fool done on them. Right?
Yeah.
Man, Casey was talking this week. I think he called me and started talking about something that happened. Now, I don't know if you mentioned it or I mentioned it first, but our reputation started coming up on the phone. It was just like, man, you know what? Back in the day, man, we would have grabbed 5 guys. We should go over there and whoop this dude's tail. Started talking about our reputations of what I would have did back in the day. You got to kind of calm down because your reputation started preceding you, right?
Wow.
If your reputation precedes your character, you're going to be in trouble.
Wow.
Our problem is we don't have any character, so our reputation always gets the best of us. Most of us have got the fool done on us, or done the fool in a relationship. You tell yourself, I know I told myself, I'm not going to ever look like this again in my life. I'm not going to ever be vulnerable like this. It causes one to go into the next relationship playing the right or wrong chess game. Get that? Right or wrong chess game. I'm a right or wrong that what happened in my life.
Wow.
And so you begin to go to relationship, kind of right or wrong in your life without saying a word. You get that? In search of love, we oftentimes open our heart to people based on their reputations without having a proven character. After injury, we protect ourselves by creating our own characteristic test. Uh-oh.
Wow.
Anybody ever did this in a relationship? I went through this with this man or this woman, so now I'm gonna create my own characteristic test. Everybody that coming through now, as far as love, has to filter through this test that I created in my heart, right? Anybody? You may start saying, I don't want to be married no more. I just don't want to. You start talking what God did not plan for you, because you're talking out of a reputation of someone else. Look at this. These tests we set up in our heart become guidelines as futures for any relationship we go into. The problem is you created and you filtered the characteristic test that you created through the reputation, which was built off a reputation of the one who hurt you. You get that? You created the test based off the reputation of somebody who hurt you. And so what is that going to do? It's going to be very unfair. What it's going to do is going to really run off what God really has for you. Because now I'm filtering off what this person did to me. Oh man, I'm looking with the evil eye. The Bible says if you look for evil, look for good, you'll find it. If you look for evil, it'll find you. Look at my nose long enough, you're going to find a book. One of these Sundays. All right? You keep on looking. You keep on trying to search for it. You will find gold one day. I'll pray y'all tell me it's in my nose now. But you know what? Most people won't even say nothing. They just look at you. But see, if you create these characteristics tests in your heart, the first thing you're supposed to do before you got into a relationship is have a characteristic test, which is God's standard. You're supposed to filter it through God's standards, character. Now you created your own based off of your reputation that was damaged.
Right.
You get that? And I'll give you an example of that. When I went through my previous marriage, my wife was unfaithful to me. Listen, I tried to find any type of sign I tried to find in her that looked like that betrayal. You get that? For years I lived like that. I always had a scope on her. You going to the store? Okay. That should only take 15 minutes there, 15 minutes back. It's been okay. Half an hour past the time. Where you been? If I see any type of smart mouth that comes out, all of a sudden, yeah, that looks just like the reputation of the other person. So now I'm gonna cause damage. I'm gonna start throwing up divorce. I'll divorce you. So I used to use the word divorce like it was water. You want a divorce? Want a divorce? Because I was basing our relationship based off of the reputation of what happened to my wife, my ex-wife. You get that? Uh-oh. Y'all quiet in here. It's either good or y'all ready to go home.
That's good. No, that's good.
Jesse, you ever giving yourself a manicure? What's going on?
No.
Are y'all getting this? I tried to find anything that resembled what happened in my previous. Because in my previous relationship, she was this innocent little person. Then after like 8 years, 9 years, she changed to this whole monster. And it was like, where did you come from?
Wow.
And so, you know what it left me? It left my reputation damaged as a fool. That's what I felt like. Fool, oh my God. I'm hearing voices. How in the world could you let yourself even? You didn't see this after all these years. And so it made me want to look and see. Hey, I'm not seeing the innocence in her now. I'm always looking to see to find the evil in her. I'm always, because I fell for that last time, the niceness, and then it changed on me. Is that good? You get that?
Yeah.
And so if you ever had any type of infidelity, any type of arguments in your, and you see that man change, listen, stop going by their reputation. Go by the character that God is changing in me. You get that?
That's right.
Listen, even to the point of testing women who didn't even know they was being tested. Anybody ever did that? Most of y'all that give tests, the person don't even know they're giving tests, right? They didn't even know they're being tested. I'm like, what did I do? I'm giving tests to all these women to see if they're any type of betrayal. Every woman I meet, I'm trying to go through these little test modes that I created in my heart. You getting that? Sarah, get this. Thank you, sister. Good to have you back in the house. We missed you.
Amen.
You know what another thing we do? We oftentimes filter other people based off the reputation of another person we met. Did you know that? I notice my wife always, gets filtered as, most people that look at her will look at her as she's stuck up. She don't like me for some reason. She just don't. Never met her, never spoke to her. But where does that come from? First of all, it comes from the root of rejection.
Exactly.
Second of all, it comes from, I met somebody like this before. I had a dealing with somebody who looked similar that made me feel that way. So she probably don't like me. She don't like me. Nah, she don't want to speak to me. You get that?
Yeah.
People misjudge all the time. I know it looks like she may go to Neiman's Marcus, but listen, Walmart girl, that's what she is. This is my girl. Listen, what do they call it? On a champagne budget? High-end clothes on a champagne budget. That's what they call it. Not Walmart. But I know it looked like me. She may be high-end, she shop. Listen, but she's not. Thank God. Look like $1 million without having to spend $1 million.
Amen.
Let me ask you a question. This is 4 questions. It's going to tell you if you're dealing with this reputation or do you value character. Number 1. What matters more to you, the opinion of others or the opinion of God? I want you to ask yourself these questions. What matters most to you, the opinion of others or the opinion of God? You guys got that?
Mm-hmm.
When you do wrong, are you more focused on the wrongdoing or on getting caught? Uh-oh.
Wow.
Did you feel, if you got away with it, do you feel bad about doing the wrongdoing? Or was you more concerned about getting caught? I'm glad I didn't get caught. Here's another question. Could you be satisfied if God were pleased with you, but everyone else in the world was displeased with you?
Wow.
Uh-oh.
That's good. Ooh. That's real good.
Uh-oh. That's a tough question right there. Could you be satisfied if God were pleased with you, but everyone else in the world was displeased? Now we're going to do the opposite. What if everyone in the world was pleased with you, but God was displeased with you? You need to start giving me some music there, Brother Casey. I told you you're going to be fast today, because I want to go to war. Are you tempted to point and judge others, point the finger at others and judge them? You got to stand to your feet. If you notice in the scripture I was reading in the beginning, it says when Samuel got there, the elders came out and they were trembling. Did you get that?
Right.
Why were they trembling? Because Samuel had a reputation. If you notice the question he asked him, did you come in peace? Because Samuel had a reputation of prophesying God's judgment on people.
Right.
And so when the elders saw him, like, uh-oh, something's wrong. And Samuel said, no. See, if you choose God's way, sometimes you'll have a bad reputation in other people's eyes.
That's so true.
You see, the elders say here, that's a bad reputation right there. Oh my God, here comes Samuel. Oh my God, here come. What if somebody said that to you? Did you come in peace? What do you mean? Because you got a bad reputation that you want to fight. Something happens bad when you always show up. You got a reputation. You get that? Samuel was a judge and pronounced God's judgment. Even though anybody read the story of Eli?
Yes.
When Samuel was with him, he was the priest, and God began to call Samuel. He says, yes. He called him in the name of, he called him, he thought it was the voice of Eli. He says, yeah, well, you called me? He says, no. Came back a second time, did you call me? I heard you again. He says, no. And Eli says, if you hear it again, say, speak, Lord, for your servant hears.
Yes.
And the next morning, Eli says, hey, what did the Lord speak to you? And Samuel began to tell him the judgment. Says, God says, I'm getting ready to judge you for what you did. Because of what your sons did, and you didn't do anything about it.
Right.
For your sons are sleeping with the women in the church and so on, and you didn't. And God says, on the same day, all three of you would die. And sure enough, both of the sons died. They came and brought him news. Said, both of your sons are dead. He fell off his chair and broke his neck. He died. Because the Bible says he was a very heavy man. So Samuel did as the Lord instructed when he arrived at Bethlehem. But if you notice, the elders came out trembling, saying, what's wrong? In my closing, you will have the opportunities through life to uphold both your reputation and character. Sometimes you might have to choose one. May you always desire to please God and make the choice that honors him. Your reputation is what listen, get this right here, write this down. Your reputation is what men say about you. This is what they put on your tombstone, but your character is what angels say about you before God. Your reputation is what men say about you. This is what they'll put on your tombstone, but your character is what angels say about you before God. So we have two choices in this world. You can allow God to refine your character, or you can allow the world to polish your reputation. You get that? You can allow God to refine your character, or you can allow the world to polish your reputation. Listen, God will allow your reputation to be damaged so your character can be developed.
Yes.
Anybody that had their reputation come against, it's like, oh my God. Why is it so strong in us to try to protect our reputation? Now, I really didn't do that.
Right.
And all the stuff that happened to us over the last years, God had to deal with me about trying to protect your reputation because I wanted to go talk to somebody. Oh, the twins, I broke up. No, let me show you my bank account. Let me show you how much money I got. See, let me show you my reputation still stands.
Right.
See, that's what I wanted to do.
Wow.
But God says, shh. Son, I got your character. Be silent. See, I'll defend you.
Yes.
Even when I hear all this stuff coming at me,
Yes.
and I know I didn't do not one thing, my reputation wanted to stand up. I'd say, no. No, I don't want people looking at me like that because I know I didn't do that. Do you get that? God will allow your reputation to be damaged so your character can be developed. You see, my reputation was damaged so Church Unchained can come be developed. You see that? If you allow God to develop your character, you will have a good reputation. But if you choose reputation, your character is bad. You get that? If you allow God to develop your character, you automatically have a good reputation. But don't expect everybody to think that you have a... See, Samuel got a good reputation, but you see how the elders saw him? They saw him as bad. Oh my God, Samuel, did you come in peace? That's pretty bad. Like you walk up, I'm walking up to you, you just start trembling. Oh my God, did you come in peace? Samuel had a reputation of doing what God said do. Get this, a reputation is built over time as others evaluate our life choices, and determine who we are based on the way we behave. Now, you need both, right? Because if you need somebody to watch your house, you're not going to choose a bad kid down the street with a bad reputation, right? No, he's known for stealing. He's known for being on drugs right there. But this the thing is, we become to learn to judge people by reputations instead of by character. See, God changes your character. He doesn't change your reputation overnight. He begins to start changing your character. Then your reputation begins to start changing. While we do not like the idea of being judged, the fact is that we are always judging each other as a way of determining who is trustworthy and who is not. Right? We're honest with ourselves, we're always judging. Let me see if that person's trustworthy. Reputations are built on judgment of others. You get that? Reputation is based on judgment of others. Again, if we need somebody to watch our house, we're not going to choose the person who's bad got a bad name. As Christians, our number one priority is to represent Christ well to the lost and broken world. Because Jesus is honest, kind, loyal, and honorable, we should strive to be those things as well. And all of those qualities contribute to a good reputation. That's a character that contributes to a good reputation. People evaluate the worthiness of our message based on the reputation and people of character, as people of character. You get that? So if our reputation is damaged before people, there's no way in the world we can show them our character. You get that?